Hi, everybody. I am Stephanie Gillison, and I am here today with Diana Gray, and we are
Good
here to
morning.
talk about global domination. And what is global domination? Well, today we wanted to bring on a very special guest. You all know how I feel about powerhouse women in real estate, and especially in commercial real estate. Pam, welcome today. Thank you for coming on and sharing with everyone your journey with EXP.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, there's so much we can talk about. So let's see if we get it all packed in an hour.
Let's do it. Let's pack it in. So Pam, first off, how long have you been in real estate?
34 years.
34 years. Did you start at 8 years old then, or?
Nicely, because I'm not even 34 years old all total, right? No, and Stephanie, it's the funnest story because literally, I graduated early when I was 17 years old. And my family was very blue collar. College was not anything that we even discussed. Like, as far as my family was concerned, college was not an option for me.
Okay.
And I got a job at 17 years old at a title company. And let me tell you what, I fell in love with real estate, and it just went from there.
That's
So
awesome.
I feel fortunate that I got to learn the business by reverse engineering it from actually understanding how real estate assets work.
No, I mean, that's amazing experience because I do think, all the industries, you can learn, from that. But I love the fact that, I mean, you start at 17 years old and you're already in the job industry when most of us were just trying to find our way through the alcohol, right?
Well, it was great because I was there for about a year, ended up in a junior escrow officer position. And I'm talking back in the day, literally, we typed escrow instructions, right? Like, realtors would be running in with a contract on a napkin, and we would type the escrow instructions. And I was there for about a year, and then I got picked up by a hard money lender. And that just kicked off 7 years of learning commercial real estate and commercial real estate growth. During my time with him is when I earned my CCIM degree. And it was an incredible journey especially the development of Las Vegas at the time, right? Because what we were doing was we were lending to home builders who were developing Las Vegas, and watching that growth and being a part of that growth and understanding the development process. That was really what sparked my fire.
That's awesome. Absolutely. No, and what great experience to have those types of backgrounds. So let's talk about, you joined EXP 3 years ago, right?
3 years ago, June. Yes.
All right. Let's talk about what you were doing before EXP, and then we'll move into why EXP.
Yeah. So, that's something I've actually, packaged up and I put in my past. I don't like to go back there a lot. However, it's really important to talk about. 15 years prior to joining EXP, I did own my own brokerage firm. I co-owned with a business partner whom I love and adore to this day. He's probably one of the most relevant commercial brokers in Las Vegas. Our journey began quite some time ago. We originally owned two companies together. One was a strictly residential company. The other was strictly commercial. So first commercial, first residential. Prior to the crash of '08, we had about 75,000 green licenses on the wall. Crash of '08 happened, and we just couldn't even get anybody to answer the phone, to pay small dues. I mean, half of our agents were out bartending on the strip to make a living for their company, right? Or for their family, to pay the bills and feed their family. But we ended up merging those two companies during the crash of '08. We got some bank accounts. We're selling properties for the FDIC. We were helping the city out with eminent domain projects, expanding the Las Vegas monorail. We also work with Culinary Health Fund, and we're helping them develop medical offices. So for 15 years, I was limping along, and we got to the point where maybe I had 15 to 20 agents in the company that were kind of like mainstay staples. However, I was literally going to the office every day, beating my head against the wall. That the traditional model is so broken, and I could never find a way to actually make the company profitable. And it was killing me. The expense and the risk and the liability And I was married to that company, and I was tied to it because it demanded every second of my time and every second of my mind. And I just thought, something's got to give here. There has to be a better way to do this, and I didn't come this far in this journey and have this experience and this expertise and these skill sets to be tied to a company of this traditional model that is just not profitable. I don't even know how to make it profitable. It's impossible. The further technology, the more technology grew, the more it left me behind in this model, if you will,
Absolutely.
And then I heard about EXP, and I said, tell me more. And literally what I was able to do, I had to do a financial divorce with my partner, which, he wanted to remain in that model. He's a little older than me, and he was just a little more set in his path, if you will, right? But for me, I saw opportunity. I saw ability to scale. I also really care about my agents. And for me, I saw this opportunity to actually support my agents and help them grow independently in a way that I wasn't able to provide for them. This was just so much bigger. So for me, it was about, I saw opportunity to scale. And EXP commercial wasn't even around back then.
Right.
It was a huge risk to jump over, but we decided to take it. So I was able to pick up most of my agents and bring them over to the EXP model. So essentially, I just moved my portion of the business under the umbrella of EXP.
That's amazing. And, for anybody, I'm going to ask Diana to drop our link because we do a full-blown EXP commercial explained. We've got it out there on YouTube. We'll put it in the chat for anybody that wants to take a look at it. But that's exactly why we're doing these interviews, because so many of us have these amazing stories to share. Just like Pam, I was my own independent broker, dealing with the same sort of things of how do we stay relevant? What is 5 years from now going to mean for our brokerage? Are we going to be worth any more money? Are we going to be worth less money? What is our exit strategy? When you said you were married to that business, it's absolutely the truth. We're married to it. There's no way to leave it and, to be able to grow and scale. And so when you look at the model of EXP, you have the ability to bring your entire business over, just like Pam did, put it on this amazing platform that is global, and build your team not only across the United States, but across 23 different countries. I went into brokerage, Pam, because I felt that it was time for me to collect overrides on other agents, right? Be their mentor, be their broker, provide them strategic, business opportunities and so forth, so that I could then make that split off of agents. Mm-hmm. But then again, with that comes the overhead, the liability, we still have to pay the bills, even if they're not selling, right? And that's where, like you said, it's that traditional brokerage model that's broken, and it's dying off on the vine. But here at EXP, you brought your agents over. I did the same thing. I brought my entire brokerage over. And day one, I got rid of all of my overhead. I got rid of all of my liability. But instead of collecting on the 75 agents that you had, or even the 36 that I had, I've now grown this amazing network where I'm earning on over 700 agents every single month. And I could never figure out how to make that kind of money owning my own brokerage. Is this like the most parallel stories? I mean, it's like we're the rerun of each other, right?
No, exactly. And, and the craziest thing about it is like, the more agents that you bring on, the more task it takes from you personally. There's less of you to give, like it's impossible. However, that whole paradigm is shattered with EXP because I have tools and access to so many things that EXP commercial provides me. So as far as like training, mentoring, I don't have to shoulder that burden myself anymore. And we're talking about first-class education. Volunteer partners that we have. I don't have to go searching for the right vendor or the right partner anymore. They're actually a part of this company, which is now global. We're dominating. We're in 21 countries, I think. I can't even keep track.
I think we're in 23 because we opened Chile and Poland last week.
Poland. Oh my
Yeah.
God. You can't even keep track of the growth. The growth is so
Yeah.
exponential. However, this is actually a vehicle where I can bring on another 100 agents, and it's not going to take much more of my time. Like you can
Right.
actually scale to that level.
That's absolutely right. So let's talk about, and Diana, you got to jump in here now because I've been monopolizing this interview. So, I'm so into Pam and, it's like this, it's like we're
It's like
one of the
talking to your
same.
own image.
Yeah, I'm talking to myself. It's like, but I love this because, with me, let's talk about your business. Let's talk about how, your business before was great. You were a rock star. You've continued to grow. But how has EXP even brought you more business? Let's talk about that for a minute.
I think I would almost even have to say that, and I think it's true. I think EXP causes a lot of people to reevaluate their business plan because
Mm-hmm.
because you have so many more options now, right?
Yeah.
And to one of the points that you made, I have literally mentored hundreds of agents in my lifetime. Sometimes, depending on the loyalty and the relationship, they move away, they move on, the grass is greener. All of a sudden they don't need you anymore. So they're going to go find another company. And, it's like zilch. There's no ROI anymore, right? None
Yeah.
at all whatsoever. And I've always operated from a place of abundance. Like I'm going to train you because I want to put better real estate agents on the streets of Las Vegas. And I want to train you so that you're going to fly on your own and you're going to be successful, right? So, you get a thank you and a goodbye, right? In the EXP model, let me just say that the kudos or like the return I get on making successful agents shows up in my bank account in the form of rev share every single month.
Yeah.
I'm actually remunerated for that, right? So I have these different streams of income now, if you will. I have different opportunities to collaborate across the states. I don't know if, we talk a lot about it, but the license portability with EXP Commercial has absolutely changed my business plan.
Same here. I'm so glad you brought that up because most people in this industry don't even know that license portability is a real thing, which shocks me. But
Exactly.
they're in those franchise models or independently owned small brokerages, and they're siloed and they're limited because they can't put together the connectivity we can. I want you to talk about that, Pam, and then I'm going to pull up a slide that shows the audience exactly what we're talking about when we talk about license portability and how it's changed your business.
Yeah, absolutely. One of our best clients is Houston's Hot Chicken. They are like one of the number one franchises up and coming. They're exploding like crazy. Everybody wants them. Houston's Hot Chicken. If you haven't heard of them, you probably will. So we were originally contacted by them to be their state of Nevada representative. And we were able to take it beyond that and say, listen, we can represent you in more than just Las Vegas and the state of Nevada. And we're successfully doing that. We're successfully helping all of their franchisees throughout California, Arizona, Utah. I think they're opening in Texas. We're going gangbusters in Texas right now. And we're able to do that because of our 1 degree of separation to other phenomenal agents in those states that we can collaborate with, whether it's through Workplace, whether we find them on the EXP agent directory. They're right there. They're part of the family, and we love doing business with them. So rather than just being the exclusive tenant representative for them here, they now have more control over their business and their franchisees because everything can be funneled underneath us.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And, just to dive deeper into that, because, as Gillizen Global, brokered by EXP, is my real estate team. And we're doing business currently in 27 states and 4 countries. And that's because of license portability. So when I owned my own independent brokerage, or let's say I was with an SVN or a NAI Global or one of those, or Remax, whatever, a franchise model, I could not take advantage of what true license portability is because I was an independently owned, only licensed in one place, where my company was, which is Kentucky. I'm in Kentucky, everyone. So with EXP, we are open in all 50 states. We have a broker of record in all 50 states. So we can honor as a company, because we're one brokerage throughout the entire United States, one company open in all 50 states, we can honor license portability. So there's 7 states that are off limits. They're turf states. You got to have that license, or like Pam said, work in conjunction with another EXP broker or agent in those states to get those deals done. Keep it in-house, keep, working it. Don't give it away. But the rest of the United States is wide open based on the physical location or cooperative. And so that means you get to keep your commission. You don't have to split that transaction with another agency or with another agent or broker. It's all your commission and it goes right into your pocket, which is huge because here's the thing. Before EXP, I had to co-broker with other brokers in these other states that I was trying to do business in. So technically, I really wasn't doing the business in the other states because legally I couldn't pull it off. I was basically referring it to this broker, co-doing a deal by splitting the commission 50-50, but still giving up a big percentage of my commission. But more importantly, I was giving some stranger access to my client,
Yes.
which enabled them, I'm enabling them to build a better relationship with that client than I could do because I couldn't go there and do the business. At EXP, not only do you get to keep all of your commission and not give a dime of it away, but you don't have to worry about someone else poaching your client and building that better relationship. This right here is the game changer. And to me, this is number one reason why anyone doing commercial real estate needs to look at EXP Commercial, because I don't care who you're with. You might say you can, but guess what? You're really not. And I encourage you to have a one-on-one with us so that we can really break this down for you, because so many agents and brokers I speak to go, oh, well, I'm already doing that. No, they're not. They're not,
Well, one of the other things that
100%.
we need to take into consideration too, is Pamela is saying how she's growing these agents and helping them build their business. Well, we're a nomadic society. I mean, nobody stays in place anymore. Like I lived in
Right.
North Carolina, got licensed in North Carolina, recently moved to New York. I didn't have to change brokerages. I didn't have to change franchises. I didn't have to change a market center. I stayed with EXP.
That's
And
right.
I didn't have to redo the wheel. So now I'm getting licensed in New York. In 5 years, we plan on relocating again south. Wherever I land, I'll be getting a license and I'll be able to add that license to my EXP current licenses in New York and North Carolina without changing a single thing, finding another brokerage. Who do I trust? Who do I want to work with? I just relocate and start my business and nothing changes. My advertising doesn't change. My phone number doesn't change. Like
That's
nothing
right.
changes. And my connections are still my connections within EXP.
That's true.
And I think that I think it's worth mentioning as well, like to piggyback on what both of you ladies just said, somebody might have the misconception, well, I could go work for a Colliers or a CBRE and they're national and I could do the same thing, right? But the truth of the matter is it's very, very different. Where we, the C word, we collaborate, right?
Yeah.
And that word might get overused and it might get watered down, but this really is the true sense of collaboration with the EXP Commercial, because I guarantee you in Colliers and CBRE, like if I wanted to be a franchise agent, they would not allow me to do that. They, like
No.
you said, Stephanie, they're going to take that client over in that other state.
Yeah,
And
they're going to say, well, the territory up here, Colliers is going to take that client on, and here's a small percentage for making the introduction.
Exactly.
But even if they did, let's just say, yeah, sure, Colliers lets you do that. Let's talk about the split. We haven't even touched on that. License portability is number one for me, but you know what? For all of us, I don't care who you are, where you are, and where you're doing your business. Number one to all of us is wealth and livelihood, so that one day we can decide to retire, right? And so how many thousands of people in the commercial real estate space have I spoken to over the course of the last 2 years? And the number one question I ask them is, well, what did you pay your broker so far this year? The amounts have been astounding because they're on these 50-50 splits. And so at EXP, no matter how many states you're doing business in, right? You can do it all over the place. You're only going to have an 80-20 split. But once that 20% equals $20,000, you're 100%. And they're like, what? Like, that's so over their head because they don't even understand that caps are a thing. So Pam, go into that. And how did that change your life?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's incredible to be able to own a business, however, also still work autonomously under a powerhouse umbrella like EXP. You know what I'm saying? And so it also actually making the move by selling my brokerage and coming over here has allowed me to be transactional again. Because I don't know about you, Stephanie, but it was hard for me to be transactional because I just simply didn't have the time when I was managing so many agents and an office and a cleaning crew and then, it was just insane.
The IT people making sure the copier works, all noise. Pam, let's just call that what it is. It's noise because all of us owners and those that are they think their next step is to go out and open their brokerage. I always say, listen, been there, done that. It is not glamorous. You are everything. You're the responsible, the liable, the bank, and you take out the trash.
100%. Hey, if they run out of toilet paper, they're coming in your office. I have people to take care of that. Don't ask me,
Right.
So, incredible. So, you have an anniversary date with EXP Commercial, or anytime you join EXP, whether it's EXP Realty or EXP Commercial, that's your anniversary date. Your anniversary date will never, ever change, right? So every anniversary date is when your cap clock starts ticking. And because I've been able to become transactional again and run a team and manage people, I'm hitting my cap in month 1 of resetting. So, I mean, how did it change my life? How did it change my career? How did it change my family? How did it change my liberty? How did it change my freedom? Exponentially. I mean, I'm worrying about far different things right now. It's interesting. There was, they say, when you're young, you're going to have $500 problems, but that's okay. They're going to turn into $5,000 problems. Then when you're really hitting it, they're going to turn into $50,000 problems. And so now my thought process is, so different as far as wealth and what I'm actually capable of. It's like I finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the fees after you cap are nominal. I think you have them on the right side. Oh, those are the standard startup costs. But the fees after you cap are nominal. I mean, it's like $250 per transaction. And that's nothing. I mean, that's absolutely nothing, especially, when you look at most people in commercial space right now, looking at their current situation, they are forever paying a full-blown percentage. One of the gentlemen that joined EXP Commercial about 4 months ago, I had asked him one day, he was not at a typical commercial firm, but he was part of a residential firm, but doing all the commercial business inside of that firm. And I asked him, I said, what are you paying on? My split's the best. My split's the best. It's a 96.4. So he was only paying the brokerage 4%. Okay.
And I said, okay, well, what have you paid him since January 1? And be honest with me, $54,000. So this was back, 5 months in to the year. So in 5 months, his 4% totaled, over 50 grand. And I go, well, listen, I don't want you to focus on our 80-20 split. I want you to focus on the fact that you'll never pay us more than $20,000 in your anniversary year. Exactly. And so that's where people miss it. They don't get that that's where it stops, aside from the $250 transaction fee.
And here's the thing that most people don't understand. Like, if you really understand the mechanics of running a brokerage and how expensive it is, because let's be honest, I wasn't able, per transaction, it cost me more than $250 just to get Arizona missions on that transaction. So there was no way I could charge my agents $250 per transaction.
That's right.
the reason why this model is so successful is because, listen, when you're buying 85,000 CRMs, you're going to get an extreme discount for that. When you're covering errors and omissions, so many transactions, this volume is so massive. You know what I'm saying? So
That's absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, EXP is able to negotiate these fees and these rates down so significantly. And the truth of the matter is that I was paying more for errors and omissions on owning a brokerage, and I was getting less coverage. I'm
Absolutely.
better covered at EXP Commercial.
Well, with a deductible of $2,500, a lot of those that I speak to, I ask them that question: what is your current E&O costing you? Okay, what's your deductible? And a lot of times it's 25,000 or more in deductible. Yes. And they're not looking at the small fine print until I encourage them to go read it, right?
Absolutely. So it's not even that it costs less. It's that I truly feel we're getting superior technology. Our tech platform is second to none. There's everything for $250 a month. If you can't transact commercial real estate with all the tech platforms that you're giving, you're just in the wrong business, maybe.
Absolutely.
Anybody could be successful. It's every single tool you need to be a successful commercial agent, and access to 1 degree of separation across the globe to anybody else that can support you. And collaboration it goes so deep in this community. I have yet to reach out to anybody who wasn't willing to help me in another state or another brokerage or another team. Our referral business, Stephanie, I'm sure you can speak to this as well. Our referral business is through the roof. And the great thing is that I'll take smaller deals now to help train my newer agents. I can watch over them and they can take the smaller deals, these referrals that are constantly coming down the pipeline through EXP. Don't put past the residential agents. Like, EXP is way more than EXP Realty. I know
absolutely
most of the world right now is just familiar with EXP Realty. EXP Commercial is newer and we're still growing. However, don't put it past these 84,000 agents to feed you referrals like crazy, and they're gold. They are gold.
And, and I do want to touch on that, because referrals to my team, literally 3 to 4 times per day are we reached out to for these opportunities. Okay. And we do have these 84,000 residential agents at eXp Realty who, hey, they love referral fees. They know that it's smarter for them to refer it off than it is for them to try to learn and fumble through the business. And so I love that fact of it, because, it's business right there in front of you. And I also love that, even for those that, I'm too busy for referrals. I'm too busy for referrals. Well, that's fine, but there's always a time and a place where you're not too busy for it, right? And so that ability is always there. But I also like it for those that are getting their feet wet into commercial. They're just now getting their feet wet. It's where they want to be, but they also, have been in the space in the residential side, and they've been scared to make that leap. Well, here at eXp Commercial, because of those referrals and because of all the awesome training and education in the advisor program, you have the ability to start immediately building your business and producing and earning money. And that's huge too, because Pam, you've watched some new to this industry come in and just immediately start rocking it.
Oh, absolutely. And this is the only platform I know of that makes that possible. So, interestingly enough, so my nephew is actually also my commercial business partner with eXp Commercial. He was the first agent in the state of Nevada. We were just waiting for Nevada to open, and we pushed him in there as fast as we could. But he went to college with a bunch of guys, and ironically, they all got into commercial real estate. Some of them chose different paths than him. They chose more traditional paths. And where he is at in 3 years of being a commercial agent and the transactions that he is transacting, these boys aren't even allowed to be on an offering memorandum right now.
Yeah.
They're sitting underneath some senior partner, somebody with a title, and they're allowed to have a phone, and they're allowed to make calls, and they're allowed to follow up on the back end of CRM hits. And that's what they're doing, as opposed to what he's doing 3 years in the industry, which is we're working with major manufacturing companies leasing and selling hundreds of thousands of square feet of industrial space. It's night and day, and it's interesting to watch the two paths play out right in front of me. He is the living proof, the walking poster board of what can happen to somebody's career when you're given the opportunity, the mentorship, and the right tools. You know, you don't have to start in a basement on a phone.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Well, and then that's the thing too, the commercial, EXP commercial was founded and stood up based on the fact that the commercial industry needed a change in a big way. We stood it up during COVID for the very reason of why commercial real estate practitioners all over the United States were sitting at home trying to finally learn technology, right? Because they were kind of behind the times. Their offices were shut down and they're sitting there going, oh God, I got to learn this computer. Well, what a better time than to bring everyone together into the metaverse that we operate in, that we collaborate in, into all the power of technology to truly scale an innovative business. But also, let's look at this opportunity to look at the potential in the marketplace that fall out of the business because of what you just said. They are stuck behind all these guys with a title. They can't elevate up that ladder because you got to wait for senior this and do this to retire and get out of the way before
Exactly.
you can start being, the person that's transacting that real estate. And so, that's why all of this was made possible. Another thing that we haven't even touched on, which to me is number 3, one, being able to really grow and scale my business everywhere that I need to service clients and my team needs to service clients. That's number 1. Number 2, yes, earning extra revenue, not paying so much in split to a brokerage, not being the broker owner anymore with all the overhead, the liability, and just being that bank that none of us really want to be when we grow up, right? But the ownership, you had a brokerage, I had a brokerage. Majority of people out there that own a brokerage, they do it because they just want to own something. They want their name on the door. It's ego. It's all ego for us. I'm going to admit it, Pam, I'm going to own it. It was ego for me to be the broker owner of something so awesome and glamorous. And it was awesome and glamorous.
Right.
But it was also, I was a slave to the business.
Scrubbing toilets.
Right.
So,
the slave to the business. Not every aspect of that business was fun. Very small pieces of that business was fun. And so here at EXP, the big thing for me, the big thing for me at the moment when I decided to bring my brokerage over, which was 4.5 years ago, was the fact that, I'm going to bring my business onto this platform. I'm going to elevate it, scale and grow it the way I've always dreamed of without having to open offices in all these states and get licensed in all these states. But here I am going to have the opportunity to own a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company that, come on, Pam, if you and I met 10 years ago and said, we're going to build this, we would have never gotten this far. We could have never, we would have been worn ourselves out trying. And so here in 4.5 years, because I transact, because I've iconed, which we'll get to that, but because we grow the company, and then those agents and brokers that come in are closing transactions, we get to earn stock. We actually not only get paid on our transactions, we get to earn the revenue share, which we've talked a little bit about, but we also earn stock the entire time we're doing it. And it's been 4.5 years for me. I'm not going to give an exact number because it does fluctuate. Everything on the stock market, up and down, up and down, up and down. But I can say that I've earned over 7 figures worth of stock in 4.5 years. And owning my prior independent brokerage, which was hugely successful. We were in the top 10 in transactional volume in Louisville, Kentucky, and in the top 5% in the entire state. My brokerage was never worth that kind of money.
Because there's nothing sustainable to it. There's nothing. EXP has built in the model of the future. That's what I'm saying. Like, my thoughts are so different now. $50,000 problems become $500,000 problems because I'm able to think about that scale now. Exactly what you said. It's the stock has been such a huge portion of looking at retirement. It's been 34 years, so I'm grooming people to take my business over. And the fun thing is that I actually, for the first time as a real estate agent, have been able to build a true retirement residual income over and over and over that will continue to grow. And I don't have to do anything to make that happen.
That's right. That's right. You just share the story of EXP. You just introduce and share the model. And, I never feel bad about sharing the model because it's changing lives. It's changed my lives drastically. I've had agents that were with me at my independent brokerage, which all joined EXP when I did. They all came, and, they've paid off their houses. They've scaled their business. They are now icon agents. They had the right access to the tools and the leads and the collaboration to be able to do all of that. And, like I said before, my biggest thing for me was that I didn't lose my identity. And that's another big hit for me. Hit for me. And Pam, it was for you as well.
Absolutely. Well, it was a big thing for me. So when I was listening to the EXP conversation, I said, but listen, did I lose you guys? Oh, okay, you're still there. When I was listening to the EXP conversation, I said, I don't want to get watered down and lost in some huge conglomeration, right? Is this some place where I'm going to have to conform and I'm going to get, just disappear off the face of Las Vegas? And it was farthest from the truth. And everything that I heard and I learned was exactly what I wanted to hear. EXP actually wants us to remain autonomous. You're the Gilzan group. I'm the Junge group. Nothing has changed except for the logo next to my team name.
That's right.
It is the only thing that has changed. So, the ego conversation can go right out the door. You still own something incredible. All the work that you've done to get there is still yours. Now you're just powered by a bigger force. You're brokered by a bigger force. And the only other point I want to make, I'm not afraid of the R word. Recruiting, not afraid of it. I don't think it's a dirty word. So I'm actually speaking with a franchise owner who owns 2 very large franchises in Las Vegas. And he said, oh, we're going to have the recruiting conversation. I said, let me ask you a question. You own 2 of the most successful franchise companies in Las Vegas, do you not? And so, of course, yes, those are mine. And his ego pops in. And I said, dude, be honest with me. You recruit every day. If you weren't out there recruiting, you would not have successful companies. So yes, we also recruit. It just looks different because we have the ability to build our own businesses.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And, this is huge because I worked 24 years to build my brand. So the last thing I wanted to do was lose it in the identity of a Colliers or a Remax or whatever the brokerage is out there that doesn't want the agents to be up here. That's what's huge. You've got to have your identity and your brand. I've brought several people over from a pretty large commercial, one of the top 3 commercial brokerages. And one of their biggest fears is that, well, without that name, me being affiliated with that name, I don't know if I'll be able to keep my business. And I'm sitting there going, what do you mean? I don't even understand what that means. And I said, listen, these people, I said, do you have repeat clients? Yes. My top 5 clients, that's who I focus on. That's who I'm doing deals with, every single month. I go, I want you to call them up today and ask them if they're working with you or are they only working with you because you happen to be where you are. And, when they picked up the phone and made those calls and then reached back out to me, they said, you were right. They didn't even know where I was. Like, they didn't even know what company they were affiliated with. And here for 18 plus years, these guys were paying 50-50 split to this big monster company, and their clients didn't even know they were with them.
Well, there's a lot of scarcity. Commercial real estate, as I know it for the past 3 decades, is a good old boy network.
Yeah.
It is a good old boy network. And if you're not invited in or you don't climb your way up a national ladder, you just kick your way in. True, exactly. Especially if you're female. However, the model of EXP Commercial, EXP Realty, EXP World Holdings, it just shatters everything that most people know and understand about commercial real estate, right? You know, it
That's
just
right.
shatters the entire mold. And we're actually doing something very different. And we're doing something that benefits the agents
That's
and
right.
the brokers. And that's not normal in commercial real estate. So I think a lot of people are still thinking it might be too good to be true, which, you know, we're living proof.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know, we're the fastest growing commercial real estate brokerage to ever launch in history for a reason, because we are putting the agents first. You know, you're basically being able to build your own, you know, ownership of a multi-billion-dollar company all across the globe. And to be able to have this one brokerage that is represented in all of these countries, to be able to do business in all of those countries. Right now, my team alone, we're doing deals in Mexico, France, Portugal, Canada, the UK, and we're going to continue to grow. Dominican Republic as well. So we're going to continue to grow that. But again, I go back to, I couldn't have done that with my prior situation of owning my own independent brokerage. And I couldn't have done it even if I was with another big name, because even the KWs of the world that debate with me every single day, been there, done that. But they say, well, we're in Dominican Republic. No, you're not. Some franchisee, an independently owned and operated franchisee, owns that market, and they're not letting you come in and not pay them a dime. So please think about what you're saying to me. But here, that is how EXP works. And that's huge. But not only do you have the ability to transact, you can grow your team throughout all these countries. So think about it for a second. You know, today when I wake up, I love it. I do. Pam, I don't know about you all. I get excited to look at my EXP every day, because that's where our revenue share is reporting to us. So this is just money
you got
that
to go
we're
to that
earning.
dashboard
I
every morning.
love it. I love it. Sometimes I check it every morning and sometimes I check it at night, because the difference between what happened at the morning and then the thousands of dollars it grew throughout the day, I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. You're just so giddy about it. But to be able to sit in Louisville, Kentucky, which is where I reside, it's where my, where I live. It's not where I do business. I do business everywhere. But to be able to get paid on a transaction that happened in Mexico that I have nothing to do with, to be able to get paid on a transaction that closed in Hong Kong that I had nothing to do with, that's what we're talking about with global domination. You can sit at whatever brokerage you want and be extremely successful and grow your business, do all kinds of great things, right? You can pay more and split, you know, maybe you've got the right tools, who knows, okay? But here, you can't do, this is the only place that you have the ability to really master global domination. And that's why we've called this global domination. Here, you get to grow your team, you get to earn revenue, all of these countries. You have the opportunity to do so. So there's no other brokerage out there that can give that.
I think we would be remiss too if we didn't just touch on the fact about the quality of our leadership.
Yeah.
I was sitting in New York City not long ago, chatting with, oh geez, I see his face right in front of me.
James Wong, James, our president.
I was chatting with James, Jason Guessing.
Yeah.
You know, and they're just the most approachable CEOs, CFOs. He literally comes to me, Pam, how are we doing an EXP commercial? He asks me, you know,
That's
he's like,
right.
do you have all the tools that you need? Is there anything we can be doing better? And he's actually taking notes and work chatting his secretary. Hey, I'm sitting here with Pam in Las Vegas, and can we check on this and this and this? So that in and of itself, the fact that we have that type of leadership. But I do know that like Glenn Sanford has in mind and has wheels in motion to significantly change how commercial real estate is done, well beyond everything that we've talked about here. You know, we're talking about the, just forms and documents and, oh my gosh, how much money I used to have to pay for Win Air forms. And I don't want to keep beating that old model to death or whatever, but just conformity across the states. And there's so many wheels that are in motion from our leadership standpoint to actually make commercial real estate work better.
Yeah.
And I don't know any other company that's doing that because, you know, they're just worried about keeping their own business. They
That's
don't want
right.
to give any of their secrets away. They don't want to help any other company out there because it's all so competitive as far as they're concerned. We actually have leadership that is interested in making sure that we have the best place, the best platform, the best legislature, everything that we need to be able to transact commercial real estate better. And I just don't know many companies that go to the level that our leadership does.
That's right. No, and I'm so glad you did touch on that because, that's important. Everyone in EXP World Holdings, EXP Realty, EXP Commercial are 100% approachable because the agents own this company and they work for us agents. And it's just, that's the way that, that's why it works. That's why we're the fastest growing. And I get excited even more and more every single day. Someone had put in the chat, I'm disappointed in the feminist and I'm not sure exactly what they meant by that, but I can tell you all this, whether you're a guy, whether you're a female, whether you're whatever you want to be, absolutely. That's what this company is all about, being collaborative together, scaling together, being business partners together, because regardless of Pam being located in Las Vegas, and Nevada, or I being located in Louisville, Kentucky, or Diana Gray being located in Rochester, New York, the common denominator on all of this is that we're actually business partners owning our pieces of a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company that is here to make sure that as commercial real estate agents, that we all win. And we grow and we scale together. Pam, I love you. I'm so glad that you came on board today. Lisa Marie Wan normally hosts this with me. She's traveling with her father today for his 75th anniversary. Diana Gray always produces this from the back from behind the scenes. And so I appreciate Diana coming out today in front. Listen, if anybody wants to have a further conversation, feel free to reach out to us. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can email us at info@globaldomination.live. Look us up. We're happy to have a conversation. And here's the thing. We're one of these people as well that even if EXP is not the right decision for you, that's okay too. But reach out because I do transactions and so does Pam. And you know what? We all like to make money. So there's your other common denominator. So if we can't be business partners together, let's at least do business with one another. So thank you all, everyone, for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Pam. Have a good one. Bye, all.
Bye, everyone.